bitter end. Come and join us, DNVR. We are DNVR.
We are DNVR, and we are live from Studio A here at the DNVR Bar. And today the A stands for About Damn Time. It's in About Damn Time they changed those overtime rules. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, a shout out to our presenting sponsor, MSU Denver. msudenver.edu/online, where you can scope out all they have to offer. And they have a ton to offer, 750 total classes, 45 plus online and hybrid programs. And if you're looking to work a full-time job while furthering your education, they're the perfect place to do it because MSU Denver students work twice as many hours as students attending any other Colorado institution. So check them out, msudenver.edu/online.
My boy, Ryan, what is going on? And I thought you were going to say about damn time for Jokic to finally be getting some respect he deserves.
Yeah, that's actually the only downside of if Jokic wins MVP again, is we have to stop saying that he doesn't get respected.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to play that card.
It's true. Yeah, the disrespect is a fun card to play until you're the back-to-back MVP. Like, that's like Aaron Rodgers coming out and saying, "No one respects my game." It's like, bud.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for me. Actually.
No one will be able to say like, oh, like we're like Denver sports doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Right, exactly.
But I did the research this morning. He would be the first ever two-time MVP winner in Denver, meaning like obviously Peyton had a billion,
right?
But he only got one in Denver.
Man, that is wild. Great little stat there.
Yeah.
Obviously, John
got one. TD got one.
Joe Sakic
got one. Peter Forsberg got one.
No Rockies have.
Yes, Larry Walker got one.
Yes. He got one, and then that's it.
Right, and so it would actually make the Nuggets, who went into last season being the only team in Denver who never had an MVP, tied with all of the other Broncos and Avs for most MVPs.
Wow, maybe this is the type of disrespect to respect that Russell Wilson's looking for. Never a single MVP vote.
You want to know something funny? Is I was looking at my open bets the other day.
Okay.
Actually, I was seeing if I had a Jokic buyout yet. And for whatever reason, DraftKings is not ready to offer a buyout. I'm not taking it, though, because I already messed that up last year.
You took it too early?
Yep, I did. I lost a lot of money on that. But I realized at like midnight on my birthday, don't even remember doing it, I punched in a Russ for MVP bet.
Hey, there you go. Nice.
In my pocket.
What odds did you get?
I think it's like plus 1,500.
Okay, I like it.
Yep.
I
think the narrative will just be really in his favor.
Yes, right. The no respect to changing teams and everyone wanting to see him play. I think
they're going to let him cook.
Yep.
He's probably going to have a career year, I think.
Yep.
All that stuff.
So which one would pay more? Your Jokic for MVP bet or the Russ?
Jokic, actually.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Did you get it at worse odds?
I got it, yeah. I got Jokic at the beginning of the season at plus 1,750. And then I doubled down on it like a week later because there was like a 50% profit boost that you could use on anything, and I used it on that. So I have two.
So Jokic, the reigning MVP, was plus 1,750.
Guy just looking at respect.
Wow. Let's play that while we can, baby.
Anyways.
Sweet shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
That's actually one that we can really see the face on, too.
I know, yeah. Sometimes, like, you can wear a really dope shirt on this show.
Yeah.
But, like, the microphone blocks it, or you don't get close enough to see it.
That's what, Ryan, I honestly, I can tell it's Jokic more in the video feed than actually in person. I can obviously tell it's Jokic in person, but it like looks even more like him on the stream. And speaking of, if you're tuning in, make sure to hop over to YouTube, hit us with a thumbs up when you're there, subscribe, turn on alerts, because we could be going live anytime Russell Wilson wins MVP. We'll be going live right after.
Amen to that. Also got Yoke up here too.
Yes.
Okay. Big news today, and I'm excited about it, kind of. There's good news and there's bad news.
Oh, I think I know exactly where you're going with this.
The good news is the NFL has officially changed the overtime rule.
Round of applause.
Round of applause. Good
Yeah.
job. We figured it out. Don't have Josh Allen sitting on the sidelines in overtime of a playoff game and never able to touch the ball.
Which they won't have again, thankfully, in overtime.
The bad news is that it's only going to start in the playoffs. And I just don't get this. This is actually what they did the last time they changed the overtime rules. Remember when they changed it from, it used to be you could just go kick a field goal and win, which is like one of the dumbest things.
Boo.
That was truly decided by the coin toss.
Yep. That's all you need is 25 yards.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. So then they changed it. And of course, the first time we ever saw it was Tebow to DT. That was the first time that rule ever mattered because it was a touchdown and it ended it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm thinking, okay, well, the Broncos are going to be the first ones to use this one. So maybe they're the first ones to.
I have an idea.
Okay, go ahead.
So the other team goes down, gets a touchdown.
Yep.
So Broncos using this new rule, they
chance.
go down, get a touchdown.
Go for two.
Go for two, baby.
Oh.
And now let's talk about that.
Build the statue of Hackett if that happens.
Oh, man. Don't you have to go for two in that situation? Because it's still a 10-minute overtime.
Yep.
Well, I guess in overtime.
In playoff overtime.
Yeah, in playoff overtime, it would just keep going. But then it's just a field goal. That's all the other team would need, right?
Why would you ever give them the ball back?
So then, okay, so we're on the same page. You go for two there, and you live by the sword, die by the sword.
I kind of like this because it honestly makes having the ball first a little unsettling.
It does. It really does.
Let's say Chiefs Bills, right? And everyone after that game who was anti this rule change, which by the way, if you're anti this rule change,
I don't get it.
I've never understood something less. So
the system is fine.
Yeah. So everyone that was against it said, well, all that would have happened is the Bills would have gone down and scored, and then they would have given the ball back to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs would have gone down and scored and won. So if you're if you're the Chiefs, you're feeling the same way though. You're like, okay, we're gonna score, then they're gonna score.
Right.
So if you're the Chiefs, are you debating going for two on the first one regardless?
Absolutely you are. Especially the Chiefs with Andy Reid. He's not afraid to go for it. I mean, he's gone for it on crazy times in fourth down situations, and he's a guy that has so many plays dialed up for 2-point conversions. They're certainly going for it. Now, from me, with Nathaniel Hackett, and I trust Nathaniel Hackett, but we haven't seen Nathaniel Hackett dial up 2-point conversions and trick plays. I'm still going for it. Yeah. Because you're right. You have to act in the mindset that they're going to go down and get a touchdown, and then you have to think they're going for two. So you're essentially just going to punt, in air quotes, on kicking the extra point? You're scared.
You're saying you trust your defense.
After they go down and give a touchdown?
Oh, wait. You're saying the return team. So
yes.
First team scores, second team scores.
Oh, no. I was talking first team scores.
Yeah,
First team scores. If you don't go for two and you just kick a field goal, you're not really trusting your defense. If you think that then they're going to be able to convert a 2-point conversion.
You would still be able to get the stop.
Right.
Man, it's a good point. I like this. I love that there's more strategy involved.
Yeah.
Jose in the comments talking about how Shanahan did this with Cutler, kind of. One of my favorite games.
Yeah.
Eddie Royal caught the touchdown. Eddie Royal caught the 2-point conversion.
Yep.
And I had Jay Cutler and Eddie Royal on my fantasy team.
Hey, I thought you were gonna say you had $100 on him. I was gonna say, Ryan, you were like 12 at that point.
No, yeah. So I think back then it was 4-point quarterback touchdowns. So that's 10 points for the touchdown plus whatever yards it was, and then 4 additional points. So I think it probably ended up being like a 16-point possession.
I hope that took you from a loss to a win. That would be even sweeter.
That one. Yep. And then there was also that was the same year I think that Eddie Royal went off on Monday Night Football against the Raiders.
Yep, that was Eddie Royal's year. Oh man, you sound like Sean McVay over here, just recalling plays, and except you're not recalling plays, you're recalling specific fantasy moments back from 2008.
Yeah, I'm really dialed in. I keep notes. Do
you watch film on your fantasy team?
No,
but not on the players. You go back and you watch the box score adjust.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I actually don't care about fantasy anymore.
It's my interest in fantasy has gone drastically down with DraftKings.
Yeah, you just bet on whoever you want any week.
Yep.
I'm still in a dynasty league. Back-to-back years with the number 1 overall pick. Baby, trust the process.
Okay.
And
you suck.
I just tried to trade Deshaun Watson for Russell Wilson. I got denied. I feel like that's a A good trade for them.
You know what? That really reminds me of Madden. I was offered Russell Wilson for my Deshaun Watson, and I denied it.
Russell being a Bronco.
Yes, that is
That might
very
have
true.
changed your opinion.
That's true. Well, I think he also wanted a couple picks back, so maybe that did impact it.
Don't you think though, like in a dynasty league, they should have accepted that offer?
So you were trying to give away Deshaun?
I was trying to trade Deshaun.
Oh
for
yeah,
Russ.
definitely.
Just instant decline,
Yeah.
not even a counter.
Wow, that is shocking.
I think this is the problem with playing with Broncos fans.
But that's where you kind of have to. If you take a step back, the past 5 years, you benefited from that because Jerry Judy's going in the second round and Cortland Sutton. But now, I hope not anymore.
I have both Jerry Jeudy and Javonte Williams on my squad.
Ooh, so you loved seeing Russ and Jerry throwing together last night.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
That actually really fired me up. Like,
Yeah.
not even just like, oh, I'm glad they like checked this off so people can stop talking about it.
Yeah.
You can tell. So like, I was just thinking about Russell Wilson. This guy is unreal. So he works all last week with the wide receivers.
Yep.
Then Saturday he is at his little sister's NCAA tournament game.
Yeah. Which they won. Congratulations.
Yes, Anna or Anna?
Yes.
Okay. And you should know this. It's
I
Annika,
should.
Annika.
I
Like, this
should.
is your this is your field of expertise. Okay, so that's where he is Saturday night. Sunday he's at the Oscars.
Yep.
And then Monday he's right back there working with Jerry Jeudy.
So wait, wasn't he at his sister's game on Sunday evening and then like immediately flew to the Oscars? I thought it was
I don't
Sunday
know.
evening.
He had time to make a very scandalous Instagram reel with Sierra.
He did. Yes, he did. And then he's back, like you said, working with Jerry all day.
I love that. I love that they're out there working with, like at after sunset.
Yeah.
Like lights out there.
Yep. And also he got it where he like recorded that they were going at dusk, so there was still the sun up, and then just showed that it was dark by the time they finished.
Very calculated, but I just love that I love that they made that happen.
Me too.
I kind of hope it was Jerry who reached out to him and said like, "Hey, when can we get this work in? Like, I'd love to come down there." Either way, I don't care. If it was Russ who reached out to Jerry and Jerry was like, "Yeah, I'm on it. I'll fly out there," then great.
Yep.
But either way, they got working, and it almost is like, I don't know, it's like when you miss class or something, and then the teacher's like, "Hey, I have some office hours. Like, you can come in and figure out what you learned." And you learn so much better because it's just one-on-one with the teacher.
Yep. And then also the teacher gives you that little shout out the next day in class where the whole class did what you did, but you get the specific shout out like, "Hey, Ryan, thanks for coming in. You really nailed it
Right.
last night." And that's what Jerry got. He got his own post from Russ last night.
Even Russ showing him like, terminology he likes to use, where he wants to line him up.
Yeah. And how about getting Future involved like that?
Yes.
I mean, he's like he's pretty pretty stern with Future. Like, no, you need to be right here, acting as Javonte. Maybe that's Russ's goal, to play 10 or 12 more years to then have to be able to play with Future for a year, just like LeBron's trying to do.
Right, exactly. Yeah, pull a little brawny.
Yeah. Really quick too, in that video, because of course we have to watch it multiple times. Russ has an unfair home field advantage, and that home field advantage is right when he releases the ball. All of his trainers and support staff are like, great throw. I'm like, we don't even know where it's going to go right now. We don't know if Jerry's going to catch it, but it's so funny.
I feel like when I watch basketball, I know right when it leaves their hand if it's going in or not.
Wow, so you could be a coach there is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Russ
sign
needs to
me
bring
up,
you
Russ.
down.
I will say the soccer goal in the back scares me.
I thought Jerry was going to slam into it.
Dude, I'm so worried about that. Okay. We hit on well, real quick. Let's go back to the overtime thing.
Yeah.
Are you down with testing it out in the playoffs? It seems weird to start it in the playoffs, right?
What's so weird is why would you change the way you play the game from the regular season to the playoffs?
Well, they already do in the overtime with it being continuous, so I guess that's a case for it.
But why? And the only thing that I hear people say, and first off, I love that they did this overtime rule.
Yep.
I hate that it's only for the postseason.
Me too.
And I guess the reasoning is, and it's the only reason I ever hear is, we want to limit the amount of time that people play in the regular season to avoid injuries. We don't want guys on the field for too long. Then what the heck is your justification for a 17th game?
or overtime at all.
Right, exactly. What are we doing here? If you want to have it where no one's getting injured, have it be a field goal kick back and forth, you know?
Shootout.
And sure, I guess your kicker can tear his ACL. I'm touching wood for Brandon. But, I mean...
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden do we get scared of playing 4 more minutes of football? Yet they're not scared to add 60 more minutes to an extra game.
I mean, it's all, fake. They want to
really
pretend
is.
like they care about player safety. They do not care about player safety.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other conversation. But this is like an optical thing where they can be like, well, we don't want the players to have to do this in the regular season.
So stupid.
But I'm glad it happened. I'm relieved. Oops, my light's on. I'm relieved that it happened because last time what happened was it went, then I think it was 3 years later, it went to the regular season.
Right.
And I think that's probably what will happen here.
Yep.
What I think sucks is like there's a very, very good chance it doesn't get used like next season. We never see it.
Right. And we could also have an opportunity where a game goes into overtime and a team goes down, kicks a field goal, and then the other team goes and scores a touchdown. And then we're sitting and saying exactly what you said. We're not going to see this happen. And the truth is, Ryan, this is a baby step in order for it going into the regular season. This will be in the regular season at some point as long as this rule is used.
Yeah.
And if it is used and we see it happen a couple of times and we do see Josh Allen not only get the ball, score a touchdown, but then go for 2 and win it. Or then the Chiefs get the ball back, they're stopped, and then the Bills get it. And we see like so much excitement and drama and everyone's loving it. And the NFL sees, okay, ratings, this is great. We're going to have people tuning in to our games at, 5:45 because it's in overtime. Okay, let's do it.
There's nothing we love better on a Monday morning than discussing a decision a coach made. And so...
Well, recently we haven't liked discussing that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of fun. Either way, even if it's a bad decision.
Yeah.
It sucks on Sunday, but it's kind of fun to roast them for it on Monday. But, like, that will be the number one thing on all the shows, NFL or Good Morning Football, First Take. It'll be, was Nathaniel Hackett right to go for 2 on the first possession of overtime,
Yep.
And so I'm excited for this. I think there's you could even make the case in a shootout like that Bills Chiefs game was. You can make the case that it might make sense to kick off.
Oh, to have the upper hand to know if you need to go for 2?
Exactly.
Or just kick a field goal. Or an extra point,
right.
I should say.
At some point, like, people would say, like, well, you got to put the ball in your offense's hands, blah, blah, blah. But at some point, you're either going to have to get a stop or score more points than them.
Right.
So you actually have the advantage by kicking off to know exactly how many points you need to win.
Now, the thing is, you got Russ now. Do you... what position do you want to put him in?
So let's just say your defense forces a field goal. You know exactly what you need. And you know what? You have an extra down to do it because you're not punting ever.
Yeah.
If you need 3, 7, or 8 or 6.
Yep.
So I'm actually, I might stake my claim as officially on team kickoff in overtime in the playoffs.
I like it because then also if you're facing a 4th and 1 from your own from the opponent's 41. It's going to be a 58-yard field goal to what? To get you up
give them
3.
The ball.
To give them the ball back and they can win it with the touchdown. Or you're going to go for it? I mean, it's tough. Whereas if you're down 6 or 7 or 8 at that point, you're going for it. It's an easy decision.
Yeah. It makes everything a lot more clear and actually gives you more opportunities to do what you need to do.
The only way that it would hurt you is the game is over if you turn the ball over on your drive. It would be over right there. Whereas if you were to turn the ball over on your first possession, the game's not over. It's certainly not looking good, but that's where it would hurt you the most.
Yeah, but even then, like, you still know what you have to do, and then you can go do it. And again, you have that ability of if you score that touchdown, you can go for 2, and it would make absolutely no sense in my eyes to not do it.
Yeah,
2 yards
I
to
agree.
win the game or stop Patrick Mahomes.
2
You know
yards
what I
to
mean?
guarantee it that you will get the ball back.
Yes.
Yep. I love that.
pretty interesting.
You convinced me. Team kickoff for overtime.
Kickoff and overtime. Pass it on to Nathaniel Hackett. All right, I want to talk about Melvin Gordon, who's the headline of this show. But first, I want to tell you guys to come on down to the DNVR Bar. Come hang out here. Always a good time. We've got Avs tonight. Unfortunately, Nathan McKinnon is out.
Yeah.
Might have punched that dude a little too hard in the face.
Do we have any idea how bad it is?
No, classic hockey, just a UBI.
Yeah.
Either way, always fun to come down here, hang out with the Avs crew. It's so awesome seeing the difference in the Avs crew and the Nuggets crew, and then sometimes it all meshes together and everyone gets along. It's pretty sweet. But tonight it's an Avs game. So come on down, hang out, watch the Avs, and get yourself some Breck Brews.
And get in on DraftKings Sportsbook for the Avs game. Ryan, do you know the odds off the top of your head for the game? Are they still favored without Nate?
I can maybe get it for you.
Okay,
while you talk.
and get in on the Avs, and also get in on the Final Four action. 2 games going on this weekend. Both teams about 4-point underdogs.
Avs are underdogs tonight, plus 125 on the money line, or my personal favorite, the 60-minute line, plus 185.
Oh, I like that juice a lot.
And they're getting the new guy, Lehkonen.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I like that. I like how it's shaping up. And also, I like that those odds. I like the odds on DraftKings Sportsbook. You bet $5 on one of the 3 final NCAA games, and you get $200 in free bets if your team wins. That's all you have to do. You can pick the favorite. You can pick the underdog. And if you win, $200 in your account. No better way to enter the playoffs for Avs and Nuggets than with $200 in your account. So check them out and use the code DNVR when you sign up to get this bonus. And of course, you must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700, and there's a minimum $5 deposit.
And if you don't want to come down and watch the Nuggets and Avs here at the bar, there's a perfect solution for you. And no, it is not illegally streaming it. It's Ivaka TV, that has Altitude. It's a really awesome new streaming service that has other local channels. They're working on getting AT&T Sportsnet, so it sounds like we're going to be able to watch the Rockies on there too. You have the local channels too, so you can watch the Broncos on there. It's a great, great setup. You got to check out Ivaka TV, and maybe the best part, Zach, super cheap.
Yep.
$25 a month to start, and then $5 to rent the receiver.
Yep.
So really affordable. Really good service. Watch the Nuggets, watch the Avs on your TV, not on your phone or whatever you've been doing. Awesome setup. So check out Ivaka TV. That's EVOCA TV.
I got to say, Ryan, this is perfect because for so many years I've been saying all I watch on TV is sports, but I want to make sure I get my Denver sports. No better way than right there.
Exactly.
All right, shall we talk about a guy that we may see in orange and blue this year? Maybe not.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon. This is interesting here. And does it feel, let me just start here. Does it feel to you it's one or the other, Melvin Gordon or Kareem Jackson, or can you see a both scenario?
I can see a both scenario, especially with the price tags that we're talking about. And last week, I thought that the way the free agent market was shaping up was that players were still going to get paid a lot, even this deep in free agency. But I think it cuts off with the top players. We saw Terran Armstead still get paid a ton. What did he get? $17 million a year. He got $17.5 million a year. Only $500,000 more than Garrett Bowles, which is kind of crazy. But he still got paid. However, I think that stops with the middle tier guys. I think they are now entering the danger zone of, oh boy, I didn't sign in those first few days. Now my price tag is dropping. So I think that's happened with both of them. You threw out the number for Kareem yesterday, $1.5 million. I think we're looking at about $2.5 million. I think Melvin's a little more than that, but we're not talking anywhere close to the $8 million number of last year.
So what are we talking about?
I think we're talking 1 year, $4 million.
It's going to be a no for me.
Do I need to adjust the price, or you're going to be a no all the way around?
Yes, and I hate to do this because I don't dislike Melvin Gordon. I tried to give him as much credit as I could last year. He is a very solid running back. There's just one thing I can't get past, and it's the fumbles. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be this guy, but the stakes have gone up. It's not just, whether you win 6 or 7 games now because you lost to the Eagles because you coughed it up and Darius Slay took it the other way, or because, you coughed one up against, who was it, the Raiders? that
The
was
Washington
Drew.
football team, and then the Broncos were able to win that game.
Okay, and
still.
then I feel like there was one more.
There was.
Crucial.
Yes.
Late in the season. And I can't do it. I can't sign off on the potential of one of these big games. And yes, you could tell me, okay, well, when the game's on the line, they'll just keep it in Javonte's hands. But you just never know when the game-changing play is going to happen. And so while I respect Melvin, I think he's a very good running back. I think he has a lot of things. I can't stomach the idea that the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs and break the streak, and they're driving in there and they're trying to convert a 3rd and 1 or whatever, and the ball's on the ground. I can't get it out of my head. So it doesn't really matter the price tag to me. I would rather go in another direction of someone who's a little more safe with the football.
Okay, so Melvin Gordon had 3 fumbles last year. Like you said, a couple of them in crunch time. Javonte had 2 fumbles. So where do you draw the line? Because I can paint the picture of that Javonte is not that much safer with the ball. And I can also paint the picture, and I'm not trying to be fair or unfair either way, because I can also paint the picture that Melvin Gordon had the 7th most fumbles of any running back in the NFL last year. He was tied with Dalvin Cook.
Yep. And to me, with Javonte, it's like, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He still has time to learn. With Melvin, this is a pattern that has followed him his entire career. It's basically something that you can look down and say he's going to fumble the ball. And for whatever reason, it feels like it comes at the worst times. And so I'm not going to be mad if they do it, but I'm just saying if it were me, I would look and say, okay, what's another quality running back who's out on the market that we can get that doesn't have this issue.
And that's totally fair, because last year and actually the past 2 years beyond last year, he had 4 fumbles in both of those seasons, and one of them was with the Broncos, one of them wasn't. And if he had 4 fumbles last year, he would have had the 2nd most fumbles, tied with 4 other guys, including guys like Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, other really good running backs. But that is showing you that he does have an issue of that, and he's had that most of his career. When he was a rookie, he had 6 fumbles. Then he limited it to 1 and 1. In the following years, it's picked back up again. So I can't really debate with your fumbling issue. What I can debate is that Melvin Gordon he's a damn good football player. And when he's given the ball, if he doesn't fumble, which again, it was only 3 times last year, he produces. And to go from Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams to Javonte Williams and Mike Boone, I think is a massive drop-off. And I loved what I saw from Mike Boone in training camp last year. Loved it, Ryan. And then he just never saw the field. The maybe it was all on the coaches, but what I saw in regular season or in training camps showed me that he should have absolutely gotten an opportunity in the regular season, and he didn't. I can't imagine that's because the coaches were 100% incompetent. Now, maybe they were. But this is going to come down to George Paton. Does he think that Mike Boone is going to be able to be a nice second fiddle to Javonte Williams? If not, I love bringing Melvin Gordon back for $4 million. And honestly, Ryan, I think his price is below that now. I think we're talking $2.5 million. Just like Kareem Jackson, we saw his price drop from $10 million last year to $5 million, and then it could be $2.5 to $1.5 million this year. So, but if he comes back, his role is going to be different. He's not going to be the 1A. He's not going to be the one that's the starter. It's going to be Javonte who's the starter, and it may not even be as fairly split as it was last year. These guys, Ryan, they had nearly the exact number of carries as each other last year. Now, 65-35, 60-40, and especially those ones coming in late game situations for Javonte. He's getting the ball then.
Yeah, and I'm looking around at available free agents right now at the position. It's not great, and you're definitely not going to get someone with the name recognition that you get from Melvin Gordon. Like there's guys, Jerick McKinnon, who's a really nice addition for the Chiefs during the season last year, is someone who you could say, okay, that's more of your third down back that you can play alongside Javonte Williams. It's a lot of older guys, though. He's 30 years old. Giovanni Bernard, 30 years old. Devontae Freeman, 30 years old. Le'Veon Bell, 30 years old. Basically, if you're a 30-year-old running back right now, you're available.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I could go either way. I guess what I would say is if you're gonna have him on the team, you can't give him the ball in crunch time.
Okay. And I think he was given the ball in crunch time last year because he was the starter.
And he was the better running back.
He
last
was.
year.
He was, but now that's going to be flipped. He's not going to be the starter. So then you're not giving a backup the ball in a clutch situation, right?
I don't know. Coaches, they just see the hot hand and they know they need 1 yard. And you know who does a really good job of just getting 1 yard when you need it? It's Melvin Gordon. Problem is, maybe that's something about it where he's like,
right.
He's
too focused on driving the legs.
Yeah, or trying to wiggle his way through a little space, and he loses track of holding on to the ball. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and say don't sign Melvin Gordon. That'd be an idiotic move. But I'm saying if it's me at GM, I'd probably go for one of those guys that I named off, who's a little more of like a specialty player. You're gonna use them in third down situations, passing situations, and just not like, I don't know. I almost don't want to see it for Melvin, like the fans losing their absolute minds because he fumbled the ball in a big game and the Broncos lost because of it.
Man, they would lose their minds even more because there was another great option that they could have turned to.
And you have to remember way back now. But if you take yourself back to the Peyton Manning era and you remember the games they lost, almost always it was because someone effed up. Like, it's not usually, we just got beat on this day, which we've been seeing for 6 years. They just weren't the better team. Usually when you have the quarterback, there's going to be a couple games where they had a great game plan, you had a bad game plan, boom, it was over before it started.
Yeah.
But most games are going to be won and lost because someone screwed up. Someone ran the wrong route, it turned into a pick. Someone muffed a punt. Like remember the Patriots game, Tony Carter muffs the punt, you lose the game. It's so many situations like that where it's like one thing changed the game. You were right there. It was basically whoever got the ball last, and you messed up. And so I'm so weary of having players that have a reputation for doing that. It's like, like back then, Trindon Holiday, really electric, but it's like you can't have this guy back there because he might win you a game, but he also could lose you a game. And you have Peyton Manning. Just catch the ball and hand it off to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm going to be thinking about that a lot across the team. Is just the whole story is about getting the ball into Russ's hands.
Right.
And I worry about the fumbles.
The flip side of that is the margin for error isn't as small as it was. And so you have more margin for. I see what you're saying. The games are going to mean more, but now you have more of a margin of error with that. And so maybe you take more of a risk by bringing in a guy that's averaged 1,138 yards the past 2 years with the 3.5 fumbles that he's averaged as well.
It's a great discussion.
It is.
Because I don't think there's a right answer or a wrong answer until we see how it plays out. There is absolutely a chance that Melvin Gordon comes in, plays 1 year, $3.5 million, and is a top 10 running back in the NFL. Just because they say he's not going to be the starter, if he runs like he's capable of running, they're going to hand him the ball a lot. And I think a lot of people don't like that just because everyone loves Javonte. He's in the honeymoon phase still. But the truth is, it's very possible that you get great Melvin Gordon. We haven't really seen Melvin Gordon as a Bronco when there's a big threat of the pass. Maybe he's even better there. He was brought here. No, actually he wasn't. He was brought here to play in the last scheme.
Right.
But either way, I can't say absolute no. I can just say it scares me, and I almost just like I have like PTSD of what's going to happen when the Broncos lose a game because Melvin Gordon fumbled.
Yeah, it's very fair, and I want to know what you guys think because I think you said it right, Ryan. There's no right or wrong answer. Let us know if you would sign him, if you wouldn't, in the comment section. And Ryan, one thing that people are saying, do you have something?
Go ahead. I was about to say one thing that people are saying, so let's see if it's the same thing.
Is don't pay a running back. And I wouldn't pay Melvin Gordon $8 million like the Broncos just did. I wouldn't give him $6 million. I wouldn't give him $5 million. But at what point
that's not paying
are you not
back.
Paying a running back?
Not.
Because I mean, you are paying Javonte Williams too.
Yes.
So I get what people are saying by don't pay a running back. That's not what we're saying. So one thing I want to do really quick, I want to go through the highest paid running backs and just go from 1 all the way down. You tell me when you think Melvin's at about the right person. and
Oh,
the
okay.
right couple of groups, and we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, just to completely smash, like $3.5 million, $4 million is not paying a running back.
No.
Like, I get the whole, that's a big thing on NFL Twitter, don't pay running backs, but it doesn't mean, like, don't employ a running back.
Right.
You got to pay guys to
Right.
have them on the roster.
Right. I think the Broncos paid Mike Boone $5 million over 2 years, so $2.5 million.
Yep.
And that's what we may throw out that number when talking about a number for Melvin.
Totally.
So the first few I'm going to go through quick: McCaffrey,
No.
Kamara,
No.
Zeke,
No.
Cook,
No.
Derrick Henry,
No.
Nick Chubb.
Derrick Henry, what is he getting paid?
12.5, and that's on a
What a
new
steal,
contract.
man. What a
New
steal.
contract. Christian McCaffrey, who's now injured and dealing with all that, 16 mil.
Trade rumors surrounding him. At least they were a little while ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might come up more closer to the draft we get.
Yep.
Would you trade for him?
Broncos?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
16 mil for a guy that you're probably gonna have to give something up for, right? I imagine.
By the way, not a reunion. That's a homecoming. I support homecomings.
Homecomings are great.
Yeah.
You're probably a big homecoming guy, right? We actually talked
We
about
talked
this just a
about
couple weeks
this.
ago.
I missed several homecomings for CU football games.
That's true. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon,
No.
Aaron Jones,
No.
Saquon,
No.
James Conner.
Well, Saquon,
That's fair. We'll put him aside because of injuries.
we just don't know. Yeah.
James Conner,
No.
Leonard Fournette,
Getting closer.
Hines.
Okay, he's there.
Okay, and Austin Eckler. I'm just gonna see
Yeah.
if it fits in this group.
I'd rather have Austin Eckler, but
Chase Edmonds.
yep, he's in this group.
Okay, and Kareem Hunt, Rashad Penny.
So it's like a tier 3 running back.
Yeah. I think that's exactly right. A starter tier 3. These guys are making between $5.7 and $6.2 million.
Yep.
However, so I'm not paying that to Melvin.
Yep.
Are you?
No, because you have Javonte.
Right. Exactly. So I'm not doing that. However, I think this is the value that he was looking for at the start of free agency.
Yeah.
He was saying, I want this type of contract, especially Chase Edmonds got the $6 million contract. He got that, the first or second day of free agency? Melvin probably said, boom, show me the money. That's what I want, and I'll go to that team. Now, that price is not there. On the second full week of free agency, the third full week of free agency now, that price is not there. So when we talk about the $3 million running back, we're talking about a guy, Jamal Williams in Detroit. He's getting $3 million a year. He's the 24th highest paid running back. And then you go down a little bit from there, and you're talking about guys that are in the 2s, and that's kind of the back end of the 30s, or the 20s. That's kind of the role that Melvin Gordon would have. He's not technically a starter, but he is one of the best 30 running backs in the NFL. So that's probably where the Broncos are coming from, saying, here's 2.5. And Melvin's saying, I want 6. Let's see if they meet in the middle, 3.5 something.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 even.
Yep.
Is fine. It's not for me, but I wouldn't bash the move by any stretch of the mind. And it's not paying a running back.
It's not.
Even those James Conner numbers is not paying a running back. Especially, I think he's on a 1-year deal.
Right. And Dearness Johnson, we know him all too well here.
Oh, is he a free agent?
He is a free agent, actually.
Sign me up.
Yeah, he was getting, I think he is.
I think he is too.
He's getting $2.4 million.
He was or is?
That's what it says. He is.
All right, let's
maybe
find
they
out.
put I think what they did was they put a right of first refusal tender on him, or something like that.
I want Dearness Johnson.
He'd be great. Unless it's
see.
a total fluke what he did against the Broncos, but the way he was running, I don't think so.
I gotta go.
What are we finding?
I'm not finding anything. Let's go to Spot Track or Spot Rack.
That's where I was. It said he was making.
Okay, so it says he signed a 1-year deal. Where did it go? I think he is under contract.
Okay, for 2.4, and that's a third string running back.
Yep, he is under contract for this year, it looks like, and then an unrestricted free agent next year.
Okay. 1 year, 2.4.
Yeah, I mean, I wish the Broncos would have him at 1 year, 2.4. But it's the same. It's like the Mike Boone money.
They did tender him.
Okay, so
that was my bad.
So is he? Can someone still make an offer, or is that deadline passed?
I'm not sure what tender they did. Yeah, I think it was a right of first refusal tender. So yes, the Broncos could offer more. They could offer him 1 year, $3 million.
Do it.
And the Browns could match.
Yeah, they could. And then I guess you can turn back to Melvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm ready for maybe a little bit of a change. But paying a running back is way different than giving Melvin Gordon a 1-year contract to bring him back.
Especially when the other guy you have is on a rookie deal.
Dearness Johnson, one thing I like about him is he's young.
Scared me. I thought you were going to slap me when you just went like that. The quick flip. Legitimately, my heart's going. Because I think I saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Dearness Johnson is younger, which is one thing I like about him. But of all the available guys that most people have heard of, Melvin's on the younger side at 29.
Yep.
Most of those guys are past 30
Yeah.
or at 30.
It's a really good point. That's, again, I would have thought that, especially when Buffalo actually did look for a running back and then got shafted by one who left.
What happened?
Was it McKisson? I don't remember who it was.
J.D. McKissick?
Yes. I think he was with Washington last year. Then he agreed to terms with the Bills, and then Washington said, "No, we'll pay you that." And he said, "Okay, I'll go back to you guys."
Why would you stay in Washington?
Doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe he thinks they're just going to run the ball because they don't have a quarterback.
Or just like doesn't want to move his family to Buffalo.
Maybe, yeah. Vaughn's saying, "Shoot, maybe I shouldn't have done that either."
I'm so worried about Vaughn in Buffalo.
Yeah. And
Now, I
he's
think
not even going to play in that new stadium.
I think it was Mace who said, like, once they start winning, it'll change. And I think that's right. But I can't be sure.
If I'm a Bills fan, I'm so bummed. Just with how much he loves things, how much Vaughn loves things, and he just doesn't even love the Bills right now.
I haven't seen him like post really anything about the Bills.
No.
I did see something yesterday. He said, like, if you're not trying to help me win Defensive Player of the Year, then that you're out of my life or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we're out.
Yeah, I think we are out.
But
We're on the Pat Surtain train.
yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. I'm worried about him there. Maybe if Melvin went up there, it would give him like a friend. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not 100% off paying Melvin, but I'm not on either.
I think it's very fair. And another thing that's very fair is we had someone in the comment section, I just lost, I think it was coming in from Ezra, who says we have 250 viewers and only 56 likes. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting us with a like, we would really appreciate that. And thank you, Ezra.
We absolutely would appreciate that. And we would also appreciate you going over and getting a sexy pizza.
Oh, I'm dying for one right now.
I am too. I'm pretty hungry. I actually had breakfast like not too long before I came here, but there's something about this show that just gets the metabolism
Really
rolling.
does.
Anyways, check out Sexy Pizza. Anything that they offer with green chili on it, I think there's like a green chili and sausage and a green chili and pepperoni.
Yep.
You can't go wrong with either one. Mace always talks about their Italian salad, which kind of has like the Italian meat sliced up on it. Love a salad like that. So many great options. And of course, they're philanthropies, which give back to Colorado nonprofits.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking tonight, man, it's just a nice, easy stay in and eat some pizza night. Weather's not great.
Yeah.
Then Sexy Pizza is the way to go. By the way, Zach, I was thinking yesterday, and we talked about this during our Madden game, which game kind of goes in quotation marks.
I was going to give you props right
I don't know. I
after
gave you like
this.
40 minutes.
That's fair.
It's funny, like there's a certain level of weather where you're like, oh, gotta go have a drink outside.
Yep.
Then there's another level of weather that's like, it's one of those nights to stay in and have a drink.
Right. Yep. And then there's always something in between.
Yep, exactly. Like,
Does the drink change though, depending on those?
yes, yesterday I was scrambling through my, I don't know, what would you call it? Collection?
Yeah.
Stash?
Yeah.
Any
Stash,
of those
I think we're talking more Lightshade Dispensary.
Right. Collection though makes it seem like you have a lot. I don't have a lot.
And like it's super fancy.
Right. Like I keep a bar.
Okay,
You know,
yeah, there
I
you
was
go.
looking through
There
my
you go.
bar because
Yeah.
I thought we were out of tequila, and it was very much like a tequila and lime 78 degrees on the porch type of day. But I
Yep.
did find some, and it was delicious.
That was my issue, was I didn't do the tequila before, and then Ryan comes out and stomps me.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what? I think the first quarter, was it 10-0?
Something like
And
that.
I think I had the ball or something. I knew there
You
was
were
an opportunity.
driving.
I knew that drive. I didn't tell you, but I knew that drive was. I knew I was going to win the game regardless. But I knew that drive was going to make it maybe a game in terms of me covering the 31.5-point spread or a blowout. And then 2 seconds later, it's 17-0.
Yep. Your problem if you want.
I have a lot. I have a lot of them on there.
Is that you're afraid of taking sacks?
Yeah.
So then you just throw it and then it gets picked.
Yep. I guess you took 1 or 2 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to, but the worst part about this new Madden is if you try to press
point.
a button right as you're getting sacked too, then it fumbles it.
Yep. That's a good point.
So
Take a sack. It's like what we tell quarterbacks.
Yep.
Sack's better than a pick.
Exactly.
I think we told that to Drew a lot.
Live to see another down.
Really quick, did you see Pete Carroll today?
Oh, God,
He
no.
said all the right things about, having Drew's back and stuff and saying he's the guy. Today he comes out and says, and this is an exact quote, but the problem with Drew is he just turns the ball over way too much. I'm like, you're going to have his back and then you're going to throw him under the bus at the thing that he truly has struggled with the most?
Right. The better way to say it would have been like, if we can just get Drew to take
Right.
care of the ball a little bit better, we
Right.
think he can be a high-level starter.
And it wasn't even phrased like that. It was the problem with Drew is he's had way too many turnovers, and, we and the NFL can't live with that. It's like you just went from saying last week he's your plan 1 to now saying how you can't live with what he does.
Imagine as a coach going from Russell Wilson, who basically turns it over 10 or less times every year, to a guy who has never had, I mean, I guess as a starter, he had, 19 picks?
Yep.
17?
It's going to be tough, Pete. It's going to be tough, and Seattle is going to wish that they kept Russ instead of Pete.
I wonder if Russ has ever thrown a pick in 3 straight games.
Wow, that's a great point. I think the most he ever had was 15,
Okay, then he probably did in that game.
and he had 39 touchdowns to go along with it.
We would take that.
Yep, exactly. It's one of the only times he hasn't had a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
I don't know if I finished the read, but check out Sexy Pizza tonight.
Yes.
There's 14, 16, 18-inch pies, and they are all so delicious. I hope they do the tailgates again next year because I've been missing the Sunday morning or Sunday early afternoon Sexy Pizza.
You know what? You sold me. I think that may be dinner sometime this week.
Let's go.
Yep.
All right, let's move on here. Do we have any super chats we need to hit? Just one. Oh, from John Mayer.
Well, your favorite. All right,
I
no
believe it's
wonder you're
actually
blushing.
John Meyer.
Yes.
Thoughts on USFL OT rules, something we, of course, know very well.
Yeah.
A hockey-style shootout of 2-point conversions. Each team gets 3 attempts. After 3 attempts, it goes into sudden death. I definitely don't like the going into sudden death because then whoever gets it first has such an advantage. But I like this as a reaction to after the first overtime.
Okay.
So let's say if you do make these new overtime rules come into the regular season where the overtime can end and then you need to figure something out, I would say that you do this. You do alternating 2-point conversions until someone wins.
Okay, I like that. Now, what do you think of college football overtime?
Well, college football has changed it a little bit as well recently, where now I believe starting in the 3rd overtime, it does go to this, right?
Mm-hmm. Where you have to go for, or
I think
it's just 2-point conversions.
Gosh, I do think at a certain point it does go to just 2.
May be right.
Maybe that's after 5.
Right.
And then after 3, you have to go for 2.
Right.
I did like the you have to go for 2 rule that they instituted.
What do you think of just the normal one, where you start on the 25?
It's not football. I don't like that you start in scoring position.
Okay, and so here's my sweet spot. Start at the 50 or your own 25.
Just start at your own 25 like it's a drive.
But I
it was
like
the
the way
NFL.
that college does it. Of then each team's guaranteed a possession, and then you alternate. So and I just love that.
Yeah, I think they got that part right. I just don't like that. If you started the drive and took 3 straight knees, you'd still be in field goal position.
And I think just why you couldn't do that in the NFL is your field goal kickers are,
Right,
what are
they're
they?
automatic,
85% from 42 yards, and that's where that would be.
Right, and even from the 50, you basically need 5 yards to
Right.
get most guys in field goal position.
Okay, so start from the 25. I think that's the best way to do overtime.
Start from the 25, alternate. Someone scores, they get it back. You keep alternating. Then you go at some point, maybe it's after 2.
Sure.
You have to go for 2.
Yep.
Then after 3, it's like the
Just
alternating 2-point conversions.
Man, that'd be so fun. No clock. You don't have to worry about that.
Think about like goal line stands to win the game and how electric that is.
It would be so much fun. I just feel like college football does things that are fun and electric, and the NFL is just like, we need to be who we are.
Right. maybe the most electric finish I ever remember for a game was a CSU game. That CSU got it all the way down to the 1 yard line. They just needed to punch it in to win the game with like a minute left, and CU got 4 straight stops.
Yeah. Was that recent?
No, that would have been if I were to guess, 2005.
Okay.
But like I'll just never forget. Like after 1, you're like, okay, we got a chance. After 2, you're like, oh my god, we might do this. After 3, you're like, holy shit. And then the 4th one, everyone just explodes.
In those situations, who's the nervous team? At first, does it change? It probably changes depending on the down.
I think it depends on how much time is on the clock.
Let's say there's 30 seconds left. The home team has all 3 time, or the team with the ball that's about to score has all 3 timeouts. So time isn't an issue for them, but it is truly a goal line end of game stand.
First down, the offense feels amazing. The defense feels terrible.
Yep.
Second down, the defense is getting a little bit more, but the offense still feels like they're in control. Third down, it flips entirely, and you're like, oh god, we better get this now. And fourth down, all the pressure's on the offense.
Yep. So I gotta get, since you're a great Madden player, put up 59 on me yesterday. I scored 14, thankfully. Wasn't sure I was gonna score. You're in this situation, 1 yard line. Are you running?
No.
You risk a sack.
I know. Is my quarterback Russell Wilson?
Sure.
And
Denver
I guess
Broncos.
they messed this up in the Super Bowl.
They did. And you got Javonte Williams. Imagine if you threw a pick here.
Yeah, but that's why you don't come across the middle in this situation.
Right.
My goal would be to get Russell Wilson out of the pocket and just let him make a decision. Is he going to run it? Is he going to throw it? Is he going to throw it away? I guess, are we talking fourth down?
It's 4 downs, and it's first down.
So, okay, it's first down.
Yep.
I'm probably handing it to Javonte Williams.
Okay.
Second down
Stuffed.
through fourth down, I'm getting the ball in Russell Wilson's hands.
Play action, or is it obvious that it's going to be a pass?
I like a little play action. Maybe like a play action out of the shotgun.
Okay.
Because I don't want everything to get all, bunched up too quickly.
I love on one of those, maybe not, probably not fourth down, but any of the other two, you roll out to the right, and then he just has the option if he's going to get sacked. He just throws it away. It's easy. He can scramble for it if he wants, and then he's got 2 or 3 targets there.
Fourth down is the one that I feel most strongly about passing the ball, because you give yourself a bunch of options.
Yeah.
First, hopefully your first read just comes open and Russell Wilson delivers a strike. If not, he bails out of the pocket. Now maybe he can run it in.
Yep.
If he can't run it in, he can keep scrambling around. In the very worst case scenario, he just tosses one up, hoping that Cortland Sutton goes and gets it.
Yep. Whereas if you run it and that lane is clogged,
it's over.
It's pretty much done.
Yeah, unless your running back has the wherewithal to pitch it back.
Right.
But you almost never see that.
Pitch it back to Russ, and then Russ is athletic enough that he can take it to the outside.
What about? Can you hand the ball? Yeah, as long as you throw it backwards. What if you
I like what you're thinking.
This is not on fourth down. What if you hand it off kind of like a bootleg scenario?
Okay.
And so he runs like stretch.
Yep.
And then as he hands it off, he peels back around and you throw it back.
No one's following him. It's going to be just like the Cowboys-Broncos game where no one followed Peyton Manning.
I love having an athletic quarterback that you can actually play and stuff.
Man, that's a good one.
Yeah.
At worst case, and you do that at the end of a game situation, because I'm just picturing a nightmare scenario where a safety reads it and then runs around and just picks off a running back throwing the ball to a quarterback in a backward lateral and then takes it 99 yards for a touchdown.
Or you can just do a pitch and then they can throw a forward pass.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully Nathaniel's thinking this creative.
I think he will. One thing that I think we will see return is maybe my favorite play, which is just the tight end throwback. Where you do the big play action fake going right, and they're blocking down, and then as soon as they disengage, they just start running the whole way, and the whole defense is gone to stop the run, and then you've got Eric Tomlinson leaking out the back end.
I was gonna say, why not? Eric Tomlinson kind of is that pseudo 6th offensive lineman, but why not do it with Garrett Bowles or Calvin Anderson?
Calvin Anderson maybe, but just do it to a tight end so you don't have to worry about someone
if Garrett
bobbling.
drops that ball.
Oh,
my
gosh.
It's
not worth it.
I think you're right. And that gets us back to sexy pizza.
Yeah. That was a super chat, right? So let's jump into the comments now.
First one from CDuts1285 said, RK for Vibes Analytics 2022. That's it. That's the comment.
I mean, everyone's talking about this. It's one of the
true.
it's one of
Yeah.
the issues that is sweeping Broncos country right now.
It's a pretty crummy day outside, but I'd say the vibes are pretty good right now. You're bringing the good vibes analytics today.
Yeah, I mean, imagine when like Nathaniel Hackett calls me for a meeting and I'm just like, hey, look, vibes are a little down in the locker right now. We need to do something about it. And he's like, oh, I got the best thing. And then he goes and like, does like a little dance, and then
okay.
everyone laughs, and we're back. We're back.
I thought you were going to be saying it's golf day. I thought you were going to say the
Oh.
Broncos are going to have a lot of golf days.
That's a good idea. One golf day per week.
There we go. I like it.
You never know what day it's going to be, but you always know one day you're going to come out for practice, and Coach Hack's just going to go, golf day.
Yeah. Oh, man. Do we think he does the traditional thing that every coach has done to end OTAs, where he brings the
field
games
day?
out? Yeah, the field day. Because obviously that's
Three-point
really...
competition's up for grabs now that Drew's out.
It's really true. Because that's really in his wheelhouse, but does he want to... I mean, he doesn't want to just do what Vic and Vance did. He's way more fun than that.
I think he'll do something like way more grandiose. Like he'll be like, oh, we're having a future concert. Sorry, Russell.
Right. That would be incredible.
But maybe something along those lines of like just something way more
In the
exciting.
field house?
Like, not just like we're doing like it's a field day.
Right.
Like it's a little bit
Right.
elementary.
It is, yeah. It really is. Bronco Squirt says, hey, gang, just wanted to share my where were you moment over the Russ trade. I'm a high school teacher, and during my prep period, I saw the news that that Rodgers was staying in Green Bay, so I was pretty bummed. Then, during one of my classes with seniors, I checked my phone and saw the trade news. I literally jumped up and down in front of the class and yelled, and a student commented, that's the happiest I've ever seen you. Best part is that I teach in Washington State, so there were a bunch of sad boys saying Russ is washed. I have a big Broncos flag behind my desk, which is visible through my door, so students I haven't even ever taught yet will bring the topic up to me. It's hilarious.
Damn.
That's amazing.
Just roasting them, calling them sad boys.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That is good. They're about to be a bunch of sad boys
Oh
in reality.
my god. The reality is going
Stuff.
to hit them like a ton of bricks.
Yes, it will.
And I'm rooting for Drew Lock, like
Yep.
legitimately rooting for Drew Lock. I don't think that like no matter what he does, it doesn't affect my view of the trade.
Yeah.
Even if he was to win like MVP next year, I'd be like, well, the Broncos were never going to give him that opportunity anyway. So it's not like
I feel bad for Drew too, or I cheer for him, but I feel bad for him because everyone says this was a bad situation. He's going to go to a team that is going to, I think, severely limit him.
and probably try to tank.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Like, what would they be trying to do next year?
If they don't get Baker,
It
yeah.
doesn't sound like they have any interest in Baker.
They
or is
released
that
Bobby
changing?
Wagner. I don't think so.
So I think they're tanking, and
Yeah.
they think that Drew is the captain of their tank.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
For Drew.
kind of sucks.
Yep, it does.
From Nemo 3, I'm trying to reserve judgment until the season rolls around, and because Peyton bought himself some more margin for error, bringing Russ to town. However, open your eyes. I'm a bit thrown off by this proposition of putting Browning on the edge after he showed flashes off ball. I'm skeptical on every single coaching hire made thus far. Don't know them. We didn't try to get in on Lyle, no Vaughn, understandable. And these no-name supplementary free agent signings that we're advertising as slept-on game changers. I don't know, fellas. As a follow-up, is it safe to assume the front office is no longer interested in Bryce and Bobby? I really like those two guys and think we should not play ourselves. Let's get these guys signed. I think you have to. You got to be in Peyton we trust right now. You have to be. He's done nothing, in my opinion, to give me any reason to question him to this point. So I'm going to choose to side with him. Like, until Randy Gregory doesn't show to be a baller, I'm going to say, like, man, maybe George Payton really saw something that others didn't. Because that's just the way he's been so far.
Yeah.
Like, he brought in Stephen Weatherly, and he produced.
That's very true.
So, like, it just feels like he gets it. He, like, knows better than other people. So, with that being said, no, there's clearly a little bit of a difference in how the Broncos view some of these guys and how the fans view some of these guys.
Yeah, and they're going to have to show it, but right now what you're saying is Peyton has earned that trust already. And in terms of Bobby and Bryce, Bobby Wagner. Until he's signed, I mean, his price is just going to keep coming down. He was asking for 1 year, $11 million. Would you pay that?
Not at this stage.
No one's paying it to him right now. So we'll see how far his price comes down. So I think it's still an option. I think Bryce is still an option, but Bryce is not a pressing option anymore. And Ryan, how about we grade the free agent signings tomorrow? Really dive deep into it.
Sounds good to me.
Well, so you'll love that. Next one from Dan Burke says, "Hey guys, nice to see Draymond go viral with his Will Smith tweet."
That was actually hilarious.
I didn't get it, so I just must not know their relationship dynamics.
What did he say? Oh, like Will Smith's a better man than I. I'd never stand up for someone else's girl like that.
Yeah.
Because apparently they have an open marriage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not know that. It has 560,000 likes.
Damn.
Yeah.
He went crazy on that.
Yeah, he really did. Now,
also, like, I forgot. I was going to quote tweet that with, like, a he woke up and chose violence sort of meme. Because, like, that came out of nowhere.
It
like,
did.
He's never been, like, a savage tweeter.
No, and he's not really a big tweeter, is he?
No.
Like, just a couple tweets here and there.
Just came in and dropped a bomb and left.
Yeah. He goes on and says, "So Peyton mentioned that he'd like to trade back into the first. How feasible do y'all think this is? And what's the ballpark for the cost required? And are there any players that you'd think would be worth trading up for? I know they've shown early interest in a tackle from Central Michigan. So how would you guys feel if that was the guy they were trading up for?"
Is that the mountain?
I don't think so. No.
Is he from Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay, same colors.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the guy. We'll have some more draft coverage with the draft guys coming up soon as we get closer. It's been kind of weird. Normally at this time of the year, we would just be pounding draft coverage.
Yep.
And
talking about these bad quarterbacks.
Like when I maybe this makes me like a lesser podcast host, but when I open up my YouTube browser, I just can't bring myself to type in tackle from Central Michigan when I could type in Russell Wilson highlights.
Exactly. There you go. Also, I think it would take, so you have essentially 3 third-round picks because your second-round pick is 64. I think it'd take all 3 of those to trade up into the first.
And I still don't think someone would do it.
Oh, you don't think a team would take that?
You got to drop down 32 spots before you get to make your first pick, even if it's the last pick of the first round.
Yeah.
For essentially 2/3, because the one is like a swap.
Right.
I don't think the value's there. I think you have to get a second in that world, a real second.
Right. That's why I just think the price is going to be too steep for the Broncos to do that.
And I don't see the Broncos starting to trade next year's capital. In fact, keep an eye out. There's no way George Paton is going to not acquire more picks for next year. I think they have 5 total picks next year, and the first one is in the 3rd round.
Yep.
So
it's way worse than this year.
I actually think it's more likely you see them maybe trade down from 64 or from one of those other 3rd round spots.
I could see that, especially one of the 3rd rounders.
To get capital for next year.
Yep, exactly. George is going to hate next year.
I know, exactly. He's probably going to find a way to get a 2nd round pick at some point. I don't know who's getting traded. Well, I guess at some point we're going to talk about
yes,
that.
we are. We did mention him today, too.
We did.
I know that.
Next one is from, a long one, from the Whiskey Cat. Hey, y'all, per RK's request, I wanted to offer some insight into the fire and steel beams issue with the stadium fire, as I'm a structural engineer.
We got ourselves an insider.
I have a DM on this, too, so I might have to, we'll compare and contrast what they say. Unless they just said the same thing, then I'll give a shout out. So first off, Ellis in his comments hit on the major issues. Steel risers are a majorly important structural feature that carry the loads of the stadium to the foundations. So when those buckle, they need to be replaced. Again, as Ellis said, this is difficult because of supply chain issues. Do the Broncos really have to deal with supply chain issues? And the variety of dimensions of these beams as for stadium's contoured design. Anytime you're replacing a stadium structural element, you have to assess how much load that was responsible for, and how it impacts the remaining undamaged elements that may be taking on more load that was planned for the damage. TLDR, steel risers are important and difficult to redesign in a stadium-shaped building. Plus, they take a while to fabricate and obtain because of the supply chain. Hope this helps. P.S. The 9/11 conspiracy RK was referring to is jet fuel can't melt steel beams, which, spoiler, it absolutely can. Keep up the great work. I don't know if that's the conspiracy or not. Is he a conspiracy theorist? Or is he
I don't know. Maybe this whole thing is a conspiracy. Was the fire fake?
Okay, so this is a little bit different from what I heard from Jacob, so we might as well just get all of it in. From Jacob here, he says, so I was listening to the pod and wanted to offer some light based on the fire. I'm graduating from Kansas State in May with a civil engineering degree. First, buckling is very bad. Essentially, steel acts like a rubber band. You can pull on it forever and it won't break or bend, but if you push on it, it will fold or buckle rather than break. If a steel member has buckled, then it more than likely needs to be completely replaced. And if it's embedded in concrete, then that will also need to be taken out and replaced. The high temps can also cause the steel reinforcement in concrete to expand, both potentially losing strength and causing cracks in the concrete or destroying the bonds between the steel and the concrete, both of which are not good. Heat can also cause spalling, which just kind of makes the concrete explode. There's going to be tons and tons of inspections for everything in the near the fire. Then there's going to be a designing phase for the fixes, bidding on the jobs, etc., etc. It's a bigger deal than just cleaning off the black patches. Also, the concrete under the seats has steel reinforcement, which is incredibly conducive. So they heat it up enough to catch the seats on fire. If you read this far, congrats, he said. I'm not yet actually qualified, so this may be completely wrong.
What I'm taking from that is concrete can explode and plastic is very flammable, made out of gas.
And steel can buckle.
Wow.
So now that I've heard from multiple sources on this, I actually think this is a really massive job that's going to take a really long time.
This is really bad.
And
is
you know
what?
what?
It means.
Remember my original conspiracy? My first conspiracy, the
yes.
first thing that I thought of when I heard about the fire.
A new owner wanting a new stadium?
The new owner wants a new stadium. And did you notice who dropped a little tidbit yesterday?
Yep.
Our old friend Mike Kliss with something along the lines of new stadium could be number one issue for owner.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden there's a multi-million-dollar fix that has to happen to this stadium. Wow, for that cost we could just break ground out by the airport.
I love how it is going to be pushed this way, and it's going to be $1 million on the owner's dime.
It's probably like even more than that.
Or let's just do a couple billion
of taxpayers' money.
Yeah, there we go.
By the way, I don't know how to tell you guys this. The new owner is going to be able to do literally whatever they want.
And that's the goal.
Like, no one, you can scream and yell all you want that it's robbery of taxpayer money, and it is.
Yep. I hate it.
And everyone is it's still gonna pass.
Yeah, because the Denver Broncos aren't going to move.
No.
They're going to move out to the airport.
And as a football watching sheep that I am, I will do whatever it takes to make sure the Broncos don't move, and I really just don't care.
And that's what a new owner knows, too.
Yep,
They know
exactly.
that's gonna happen.
And honestly, they probably know that I would be willing to drive to Grand Junction to watch the Broncos if I had to.
Don't do that, though, please.
Don't take them out of downtown. Like, if
Right.
you just built it on the same grounds, I wouldn't even care.
But there's no chance of that, right?
It doesn't seem like it because you want to go up and like grab a big plot of real estate, and you know that by building the stadium there, everything else will come towards you.
Yep.
And honestly, it's part of the natural expansion of Denver, I think, to continue growing that way.
Right.
So there's the Gaylord out there,
Yep.
but the stadium right by there. It's all
Yep.
accessible by the light rail. It all kind of makes sense. I hate it,
Yeah.
but I again am a sheep that will just do whatever I have to do to watch football.
And kind of along similar lines here, a question coming in from Bronco Tiz says, did anyone see the Cronkies speaking with Ellis yesterday? Maybe they want to sell the Rams and buy the Broncos so all their teams are in one city. Is this realistic? Also, with the fire at Mile High, it sounds like a new owner could use the excuse to build a new stadium from some reports. If not downtown, where do you see the stadium going? And last, DNVR road trip to Seattle for Russ's homecoming? I'd bet the 12 becomes non-existent in 2022.
Yeah, we got to figure out. I really do want to plan a DNVR road trip. Now, if we're going to London, we're going to London.
Right.
But
That's happening.
I love that take. I love that take.
Yeah.
Don't get everyone overly excited,
I think
though.
it's happening.
If we're going to London, that's the road trip. DNVR takes over London. We're all going to do it. It's going to be awesome. But if not, then we got to pick another one. I think Seattle would be cool. I've never been to that part of the country.
I haven't either.
I've heard great things.
It'd be really cool. I guess we have to wait until we know the schedule, right?
Right,
To make
right.
sure
We're not going to Seattle in
Buffalo in December.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got to be a first month of the.
Yeah, I think
Like
so.
Nashville is on the schedule.
Oh, yes.
Nashville in September.
Yes, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Get to see Derrick Henry. In terms of the Cronkies, no, there's no chance they're
Get to
going
see
to
Nashville Bronco.
Yeah, exactly. There's no chance they're going to sell he's going to sell the Rams. What he had, that's the best investment he has right now.
They just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and in terms of the stadium and everything they've got going, so no, it's just rich people talking to. Well, Joe Ellis is rich, but is very much less wealthy than him.
Yes. From Alex, how many Pro Bowlers do you think the Broncos will have this year? More than last year.
Yeah, I like that take.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm setting the over-under at 4.5.
I'll take the under slightly.
Okay. I think Russ, 2 receivers,
Okay.
and Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain.
Okay. I'll take 1 receiver.
All right. That's why you go under.
Yep. Exactly.
Good stuff.
Yep. Bleeding Orange and Blue says, hey, guys, can you explain the confusion with the number of draft picks we have this year? Peyton keeps saying we have 9, but everywhere you look online says 8. Appreciate all you guys do. Yeah, this is weird. And everything would indicate that George Payton is wrong. And I have not wanted to call him out on it because he's George Payton. Draft picks are his baby. In fact, I think it was the day before George Payton said on Sunday that he has 9 picks to work with. I think the Broncos put out a graphic showing they had 8. So I think George is a little off. I think the Broncos have 8.
Here's what I think happened. They're in the negotiations with the Russell trade. He finally tells everyone, and Kelly Klein is sitting there, and he's like, man, I just don't know if I want to give up this many picks. And she's like, George, you're still going to have 9 picks in the draft. He's like, really? She's like, yeah, definitely. We're going to have 9 picks. And he's like, all right, let's make the deal. And then it went through, and like Kelly's like winking at everyone else in the room, and they're like, we got it. And no one's told him yet.
Yep. And then he's going to get to the end of the draft and be like, great, can't wait to meet all 9 guys. It's only 8.
No, he still just doesn't
He
even.
still doesn't.
He's like, we love all 9 picks.
He never knows. He never finds out.
Maybe at some point his big reveal is going to be when everyone's like, you keep seeing 9, but you only have 8. He's like, yeah, our first round pick was Russ.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be smooth.
It would.
But I don't know how you. This isn't really something to question George Payton in on a press conference.
Maybe he knows something that we don't.
He's got a trade lined up.
Or like they have a compensatory pick that like
Those have been announced.
I know, but like it's like a different kind of compensatory
A secret George Payton compensatory pick.
Maybe he was awarded a free draft pick for winning draft class of the year last year.
Now that would be something, but no one knows.
But no one knows.
Maybe he's going to draft in what's that draft they have in like May?
Oh, the supplemental draft.
Yes, maybe he knows he's going to make a pick in that draft.
But that would cost them a pick in the regular draft.
Next year's draft.
Oh,
yeah.
He's just punting on next year's draft. He's like, I'm
Yes.
actually going to take the offseason off next year.
Man,
Let's
that'd be
trade away
great.
all those picks.
Yeah.
All right, well, good theories.
Yeah, that was good.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
That is it. Oh, a super chat to finish us off from Chase. They call them 12s because that's how old they are.
Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. We got to send that. To our guy up in Washington.
Yeah, I love that Broncos Seahawks rivalry kind of coming back a little bit. Seahawks fans super bitter, like sour grapes off the charts with them.
Colts fans weren't like that with Peyton, right?
I don't remember. I think that it was more. There was no like who could win this. You know, it's like a trade. There's a winner and a loser.
Maybe it's because the Colts were excited about who they
Andrew
were
Luck.
getting as well, and the Seahawks, deep down, this is them showing that they're not excited where their team's at.
I think there were a lot more Peyton fans that were like
Right, they're like coming with.
those fans,
Right.
And like that is not the case with the Seahawks.
That's true.
That is one thing I truly cannot relate to. Like, there's no player that would make me change my fandom.
Right.
Like, I've already come out and said Nikola Jokic is my favorite Colorado athlete of all time.
Wow.
If he left, I would just be like, oh man, really bummed. I loved you. And then just like go back, and now I'm like
Right.
like I'm a huge Bismack Biombo guy.
Right, exactly. Yes. I completely agree with you on that.
Like, there were so many people who just came over.
You know,
They're Broncos fans now.
You know a reason we may not be able to relate to that, at least from a Broncos perspective, is the Broncos haven't really had that, especially from the quarterback position. They haven't lost a great quarterback that's gone to a different team that's then been very big and very popular for a long time. The closest you have is Tebow. or Jay Cutler. But in terms of names,
Jay
Tebow was the
Cutler is
biggest
the
name.
one.
Jay Cutler, and he just wasn't that big.
Yeah.
He went to one NFC Championship game.
Got hurt in it.
Yep.
I was pretty bitter about Jay Cutler.
But were you thinking of changing your fandom?
No. But I was where Seahawks fans are at now.
Yeah.
Where I was like, he sucks anyway.
Oh man, no, I was bummed.
I was too, but I
Yeah.
just pretended like I had a friend who actually pulled a switcheroo. He abandoned the Broncos because of the Jay Cutler trade and became a Bears fan.
Still a Bears fan?
I have no idea.
Is he enjoying CHGO?
Yeah, him and I don't talk anymore.
It sounds like that's the guy you need to stay away from.
But I remember like just going at it with him, telling him how overrated Jay Cutler was, and then I just rooted against Jay Cutler for the rest of his career.
And then you won big time.
Yes.
What have they
Yes.
had since?
Nothing. I
Vic
feel bad
Fangio
for
for a
them.
year.
Hopefully, I'm definitely rooting for Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And now we don't have to do the George Payton effed up.
Yep. Never have to. Because we always said that Pat Surtain was a player, but a bad pick unless and until the Broncos got the quarterback situation. The Broncos got the quarterback situation, so now we can say Pat Surtain was a great pick.
The Broncos arguably got probably the second best defensive player in the draft at 10.
Yep, exactly.
Nine.
And then the best defensive player went at 11.
Yeah, and who knows if that is sustainable over the course of their careers. We'll see who ends up having a better career. Broncos maybe one day can say they got the best defensive player in the draft at 9.
Yep.
It was a great pick. At the time, it was concerning.
Yep.
But that's what I mean. George Payton seemingly always has a plan.
Yep, that's what it seems like, and that's it. Well, what have you been asking for so long? Have a plan.
Yes.
And the Broncos haven't until George.
They've got a plan, and we've got a plan to end the show.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we're going to do. But we appreciate everyone who tuned in. Hit us with a thumbs up. 688. That's what we're at on iTunes. We need 12 more iTunes reviews to hit
the
700.
12s come in for us.
No, not the 12s. Broncos Country is going to come in for us and hit us with those 12 more. We're also, I always worry that someone is just going to be a hater and ruin this.
Yeah.
But we're on a 30 straight 5-star review streak right now.
Let's go.
So 12 more 5-star reviews as we get to 700. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.